Imagine every atomic clock on Earth, devices so precise they lose just 1 second in millions of years, suddenly freezing for exactly 37 seconds. Not just in one country, but everywhere all at once. Now imagine the cause isn't a solar flare, a computer glitch, or anything we've ever seen before, but a mysterious object from another star system, performing feats that defy the laws of physics. What would you do if the universe itself seemed to be sending us a message? If you want to stay updated as this unprecedented story unfolds, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're tracking every new development, every anomaly, and every clue about 3i Atlas. Don't miss the next chapter in what could be the most important discovery in human history. Subscribe now and join us as we watch the universe reveal its secrets. It's January 18, 2026, and just 14 hours ago, something occurred that defies probability. A 1 in several million chance event. I'm referring to the interstellar object known as 3i Atlas, which caused every atomic clock on Earth to falter for exactly 37 seconds. Not an estimate, not a rounded figure, but precisely 37 seconds. And this happened simultaneously across all cesium-133 atomic clocks, no matter where they were located. Imagine being at the National Institute of Standards and Technology in Boulder, Colorado, where the NEST-F2 clock, renowned for its accuracy, deviating by only a second every 300 million years, suddenly displays a discrepancy. You check the redundant systems and they show the same anomaly. You reach out to the Paris Observatory, and their atomic clock has recorded the identical deviation. Even the Physikalische Technische Bundesanstalt in Germany reports the same result, matching down to the 17th decimal. This is not supposed to happen. Atomic clocks are based on the quantum transitions of cesium atoms. They are designed to be independent, not to communicate or synchronize with each other in real time. Their isolation is intentional, ensuring that no external influence can cause a global simultaneous error. Yet at AD 4753 UTC on January 18, 2026, every single one of these clocks registered the same temporal disturbance. Consider the implications. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory detected the event just over 2 seconds after it began. Their Deep Space Network antennas located in Goldstone, Madrid and Canberra picked up identical electromagnetic signatures, all pointing to a single source, 3i Atlas. This object, currently 127 million kilometers from Earth and traveling at 47.3 kilometers per second through the inner solar system, should be nothing more than a piece of interstellar debris, ice rock, or cosmic flotsam from another star system. When I first reviewed the data this morning, I had to check it repeatedly. In 4 decades of studying theoretical physics, I have never encountered anything like this. The electromagnetic pulse from 3i Atlas reached Earth at exactly 84:70:33 UTC, the same moment the atomic clocks began to malfunction. Not a second earlier or later. The odds of this being a coincidence are vanishingly small, about 0.03%, or 1 in over 300,000, and that's being generous with the math. What makes this even more intriguing is that time itself didn't stop, not in the strictest sense. Instead, something interfered with the quantum oscillations that underpin our measurement of time, something external, originating 127 million kilometers away. This event challenges every model of physics I've ever worked with. An interstellar object supposedly inert and natural somehow generated an electromagnetic field strong enough to disrupt cesium atomic transitions on Earth, across every longitude and through every layer of the atmosphere, affecting every clock at once. There is no conventional explanation for this. The standard model of physics, general relativity, and quantum mechanics all say this shouldn't be possible. Yet the data is clear at 84:7:33 UTC. Something from 3i Atlas reached Earth and briefly disrupted our ability to measure time itself. And this is only the beginning. To truly grasp the magnitude of what we're facing, let's step back and look at how 3i Atlas first entered our awareness. The object was initially detected on September 14, 2025 by the Atlas Survey Telescope in Hawaii, appearing as a faint point of light at magnitude 19. Said at first it was cataloged as a long-period comet, so given the provisional designation CD 2025 S1, but within 3 days that initial classification was overturned. Orbital calculations revealed an eccentricity of 1089, anything above 1. ZOO means the object isn't gravitationally bound to our sun. In other words, it came from beyond our solar system, possibly even from another galaxy. This made it only the third confirmed interstellar object in recorded history. But what truly caught my attention wasn't just its origin. It was the silence. For nearly 3 weeks, from mid-September to early October 3, I-Atlas behaved exactly as a comet should, following a predictable path, showing expected outgassing as it neared the sun. Nothing on October 4th, everything changed. At 20:20 UTC, the European Space Agency's Gaia spacecraft detected a sudden 0.6-degree shift in the object's trajectory. There was no gravitational source nearby to account for this, and no outgassing event was observed beforehand. The object simply altered its course. NASA's tracking stations confirmed the deviation within hours. The Vera Rubin Observatory in Chile, using its powerful 8.4-meter mirror, independently verified the data. 3 separate observatories using different instruments and methods all reached the same conclusion. 3. I-Atlas had changed direction without any visible cause. I've spent decades studying non-gravitational acceleration in comets. Solar radiation pressure and outgassing jets are well understood mechanisms. But in this case, there was no evidence of outgassing before the maneuver. The James Webb Space Telescope's NARSPEC instrument was monitoring the object, and its spectroscopic data showed no volatile release, no dust, no jets, nothing. The object simply moved, as if by its own volition. Pause and consider what this means: an interstellar visitor, entering our solar system from the void between stars, executing a course correction with no observable propulsion. But that was only the first anomaly. On October 19th, a second anomaly emerged. The Aomei Observatory in Chile detected structured radio emissions from 3 I-Atlas, not thermal radiation, not cosmic background noise, but organized pulses. These pulses repeated every 4 seconds for 6 hours, then abruptly stopped. The odds of a natural object producing such precise radio pulses are minuscule, about 0.02%. By November 8th, a third anomaly appeared. The Hubble Space Telescope's Wide Field Camera 3 recorded a dramatic change in the object's albedo. Its reflectivity increased by 340% over just 11 hours, as if the surface had transformed from dark carbon to polished metal, and then back again. No known cometary process can explain such a rapid and extreme change. Today we are tracking 14 documented anomalies from 3 I-Atlas, each more improbable than the last, each confirmed by multiple independent sources. And then on January 18th came the time anomaly. The instruments recorded at 84:70:31 UTC an unusual electromagnetic buildup from 3 I-Atlas's position, with power levels rising exponentially in just 1.7 seconds. The emission was over 12,000 times stronger than anything previously observed from the object. At 84:7:33 UTC, the pulse reached Earth, and every atomic clock malfunctioned. The timing correlation is absolute. This was not a coincidence. This was cause and effect. The precision of what happened cannot be overstated. ESA's Space Debris Office tracked the electromagnetic pulse as it traveled at the speed of light, matching the calculated distance from 3 I-Atlas to Earth, 27 million kilometers or 423 light seconds down to the second. The math is flawless. This was not a random cosmic event, it was a direct cause and effect. 3 I-Atlas emitted something, and when that something reached Earth, it disrupted the quantum oscillations that define our measurement of time. To interfere with cesium-133 atomic transitions, the most stable quantum phenomenon we can measure, requires electromagnetic fields of very specific frequencies, amplitudes, and phase relationships. Random cosmic events, solar flares, even the most powerful magnetars, do not produce this kind of effect. This level of precision suggests intent. It's not accident. And that word intent was echoed by 3 separate NASA officials in classified briefings within hours of the event. I know this because one of them called me directly. At 11:42 a.m. Eastern, just 3 hours after the atomic clock anomaly, a longtime colleague at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, someone I've worked with for nearly 2 decades, someone not prone to exaggeration, said to me, "We have a problem that doesn't fit inside physics." Imagine hearing that from a senior astrophysicist, a person whose entire career has been built on the laws of physics, now telling you that something exists outside those laws. I spent the next 6 hours poring over the data he sent me, and what I found was staggering. Let's start with the electromagnetic pulse itself. At 8:47:30 UTC, 3I Atlas began emitting radiation across 17 different frequency bands at once, not sequentially but simultaneously from radio waves at 1.4 to 242 GHz, all the way up to X-rays at 0.4 nanometers. This is not how natural objects behave. Stars emit across the electromagnetic spectrum, but their emissions follow predictable thermal curves based on temperature. 3I Atlas, on the other hand, emitted discrete frequency bands, as if someone had selected 17 channels and broadcast on all of them at once. The odds of a natural process producing this pattern are about 0.07%. But it gets even stranger. The pulse carried a modulation signature. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory analyzed the waveform using their CTI signal processing protocols, and what they found was enough to make 3 senior engineers request immediate transfers off the project. The modulation wasn't random noise or interference. It contained nested mathematical ratios, specifically powers of the number 137. This number is not arbitrary. 137 is the denominator of the fine structure constant, one of the most fundamental numbers in quantum physics. It governs how electrons interact with light and shapes the structure of atoms. It's been called the most mysterious number in the universe, and now 3I Atlas had broadcast it at Earth. To encode mathematical constants into an electromagnetic pulse requires control, intention, and technology. And yet we're supposed to believe this is just a comet. The evidence is mounting that we are dealing with something engineered, not natural. And the story doesn't end there. When the pulse reached Earth at 8:47:33 UTC, the effects on atomic clocks were not uniform. This detail is crucial. The disruptions varied by location. STF2 in Boulder showed a 372-second deviation, the Paris Observatory 371 seconds, and the German PTB 369 seconds. These variations matched each location's altitude above sea level, mapping perfectly to gravitational potential differences. This correlation between the clock deviations and altitude is not just a technical curiosity, it's a revelation. If the electromagnetic pulse from 3I Atlas had simply been a case of interference, every atomic clock would have shown the same error, regardless of where it was on the planet. But the fact that the deviations map precisely to each clock's position in Earth's gravitational field means something much deeper was at play. Whatever 3I Atlas emitted, it didn't just disrupt electronics, it interacted with the very curvature of space-time itself. This is the realm of general relativity, where gravity isn't just a force but a warping of the fabric of reality. For a brief moment, the local gravitational field around each clock was altered, and the effect was measurable. In my 40 years of theoretical physics, I've written papers on how advanced civilizations might manipulate space, time, wormholes, warp drives, exotic metrics. But I never expected to see experimental evidence of such manipulation in my lifetime. Yet here it is in the data, undeniable. Even Michio Kaku, who has speculated about artificial origins for interstellar objects like Oumuamua, would have to admit that the correlation between the electromagnetic pulse's arrival and the gravitational perturbations suggests a technology far beyond anything humanity has ever conceived. When science encounters something that doesn't fit any current theory, it's time to pay attention. When NASA classifies data within hours, it's time to pay attention. When atomic clocks worldwide malfunction in unison, the numbers don't lie. Let's quantify the impossibility. The chance of 3I Atlas being a natural comet that changes trajectory is about 0.02%. The odds of natural radio emissions with 17.4-second precision are also 0.2%. The probability of a natural object's surface reflectivity changing by 340% in 11 hours is 0.19%. The likelihood of a natural source emitting a multi-frequency electromagnetic pulse with mathematical encoding is 0.07%. Multiply these probabilities together, and the chance of all these phenomena occurring in a single object is effectively zero. In the entire observable universe across 13.8 billion years, an object with all these characteristics should never appear. Yet here it is in our solar system, and it's pointing directly at Earth. And the story only gets more extraordinary. The data NASA classified within 3 hours of the time anomaly is even more staggering. At 4:33 UTC, 6 hours after the temporal disturbance, something happened that forced NASA to activate a protocol that had never been used before. Protocol 7 Alpha, established in 1967 during the Outer Space Treaty negotiations, is a classified emergency procedure reserved for one scenario: confirmed detection of non-human technological activity within the solar system. It had never been triggered until now. At that moment, the James Webb Space Telescope's NARCam instrument captured 3I Atlas doing something unprecedented. The object didn't fragment chaotically, as comets sometimes do. Instead, it split deliberately and symmetrically into 7 identical segments, arranged in a perfect hexagonal pattern with a central mass. Each segment was exactly 14.3 kilometers in diameter, spaced precisely 47 kilometers from the center, and the formation held steady for 3 hours. The odds of natural fragmentation producing such geometric perfection are for all practical purposes zero. The geometric precision of the split was confirmed by multiple observatories. The European Space Agency's optical tracking station in Tenerife independently verified the hexagonal arrangement, matching the dimensions and spacing observed by the James Webb Space Telescope. Within 90 minutes, the KEK Observatory in Hawaii had both of its 10-meter mirrors trained on the object, and their adaptive optics systems confirmed the same 7 pieces, each identical in size, arranged in a flawless hexagon around a central mass. This was not the chaotic breakup seen in natural cometary fragmentation, like Shoemaker, Levy 9's tumble into Jupiter. Nature does not create perfect hexagons in the vacuum of space, nor does it maintain such precise distances between fragments. This was a controlled, intentional act, a demonstration of capability. But the anomalies didn't stop there. At 7:10:58 UTC, the 7 segments began to rotate, not in a random tumbling fashion, but in a synchronized, mechanical motion, as if they were components of a machine aligning for operation. The rotation rate was exactly 137 revolutions per hour. That number, 137 again. It's the same fine structure constant that was encoded in the electromagnetic pulse, now manifesting in the physical rotation of the object itself. Once might be a coincidence, but twice is a message. The implication is clear: this is not a natural object. This is a construct, and it is broadcasting its intelligence through mathematics and engineering. The response from the World Space Agencies was immediate and unprecedented. Within 4 hours of the formation event, NASA's administrator convened an emergency meeting with the National Security Council. The European Space Agency's Director General issued a priority alert to all member states. The United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs called for an extraordinary session. Every major observatory on Earth was now focused on 3I Atlas, and every government with a space program was on high alert. The question on everyone's mind was the same: what does it mean? What is the purpose of this display? Let's review what we know with certainty. 3I Atlas is an interstellar object that entered our solar system in September 2025. It has changed its trajectory without any observable propulsion. It has emitted structured radio signals with precise timing. Its surface reflectivity has changed by hundreds of percent in a matter of hours. It has broadcast electromagnetic pulses encoding fundamental mathematical constants. It has disrupted atomic clocks worldwide by manipulating gravitational fields. And now, it has split into 7 perfectly identical pieces, rotating at a mathematically significant rate. These are not theories or speculations, these are documented, independently verified observations. There are now 14 separate anomalies associated with 3I Atlas, and not a single one can be explained by natural processes. The probability of all these phenomena occurring in one object is so low that statistically it should never happen. Yet it has. The world's scientific community is grappling with the implications, and the classified briefings are filled with one question that no one can answer: what does 3I Atlas want? The answer to that question will determine how humanity responds, and it may redefine our understanding of our place in the universe. The possibilities are staggering, and the implications are profound. If 3I Atlas is here for reconnaissance, then we are being observed, cataloged, and perhaps evaluated by an intelligence from another star system. Every action, the trajectory changes, the radio emissions, the surface transformations, the electromagnetic pulses, the manipulation of gravity, the geometric reconfiguration, could be steps in a systematic survey of our planet and our species. If this is an attempt at communication, then the mathematical encoding, the symbolic rotation rates, and the deliberate demonstrations of impossible physics are all designed to send a message. We are here. We are intelligent. We see you. Such a message would be transformative not just for science, but for every aspect of human civilization. But there is a third, more unsettling possibility. If the geometric formation and synchronized rotation are part of an operational sequence, then we may be witnessing the preparation for something beyond our current models or understanding. Consider the sequence of events first: a trajectory adjustment and precise positioning. Second, the emission of structured radio signals, perhaps scanning or mapping. Third, dramatic changes in surface reflectivity, possibly indicating system activation. Fourth, the emission of a multi-frequency electromagnetic pulse, testing our planet's response. Fifth, the manipulation of gravitational fields, demonstrating technological capability. Sixth, the geometric reconfiguration into a perfect hexagon, as if preparing for a final phase. It looks like a checklist, a procedure being executed step by step, and we do not know what the final step will be. As I speak, the world's most advanced instruments are watching 3I Atlas without pause. The James Webb Space Telescope is capturing continuous imagery. ALMA is monitoring radio frequencies. NASA's Deep Space Network has dedicated all 3 of its complexes to tracking every move. Every major observatory on Earth is locked onto the object, and the data stream is relentless. The object is still changing. At 23:17 UTC on January 18th, less than 4 hours ago, the 7 segments began to contract, moving closer together. The precise 847-kilometer spacing is shrinking by about 12 kilometers per hour. At this rate, the segments will converge in roughly 70 hours by January 21st, 2026. What will happen when the 7 become one again? What purpose could require such a geometric separation, followed by recombination? No one knows. Every government has been briefed. Every space agency is on alert. In all my years studying the cosmos, I have asked the same question over and over: are we alone? The data from 3I Atlas suggests an answer is at hand, an answer that arrived from the depths of interstellar space, an answer that stopped our clocks, formed impossible patterns in the void, and now challenges everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe. The 7 segments are converging. 70 hours remain. Whatever 3I Atlas truly is, whatever intelligence sent it across the light years to reach our solar system, it is not finished with us yet. Humanity is watching, recording, and waiting. In just a few days, we may finally learn why it came and what it intends to do next.